All right, we're at 6 o'clock, so we'll begin our meet and greet webinar tonight. Thank you everyone for joining us this evening. I am honored to be here with our incredible team of panelists tonight. I hope that each and every one of you have an excellent experience. We will end the session with a Q&A, so please hang in and feel free to ask our questions and we'll make sure that they are answered for you. I am Paige Bentivenga. I am the lead talent acquisition specialist here with Memorial Sloan Kettering. Again, it is my honor and my privilege to host our first meet and greet webinar with our advanced practice provider, otherwise known as our APP division. Our APPs are a diverse group of over 900 nurse practitioners and physician's assistants. They deliver innovative, value-driven, and compassionate cancer care to our patients and families through education, research, and evidence-based clinical practice. Our APPs are staffed at all of our locations, including our main and satellite campuses in Manhattan, as well as our regional sites like Westchester, Comac, and Nassau County, New York, in addition to Basking Ridge, Bergen, and Monmouth County, New Jersey. For anyone interested in pursuing an APP career with MSK, please feel free to connect with me personally on LinkedIn or send me an email. I will put my contact information at the end of this session in the chat for all of you to access. I am responsible for the recruitment for the APP division, so I will be happy to connect with you, review your application, and talk through any processes or questions you might have even after the session. So without any further delay, I'd like to take a second to introduce our first panelists. And I'll go over to you, Juan. Very nice to have you here and feel free to jump on in.
Hi, good evening, everybody. Just wanted to say thank you for having me on this panel, as well as everybody attending. Thank you for taking the time out to hear us out. My name is Juan Rodriguez. I'm currently a nurse practitioner. I've been with MSK for a little over 3 years now. Overall, I've been an NP for almost 7. I want to say that what drew me to MSK, obviously initially, was the reputation in terms of being second to none, in my opinion, of being in cancer care, and also looking for something new. I mainly had a background in working in the emergency room and also urgent care. And I was looking for, I guess you could say, a new adventure. And certainly MSK has provided that for me. I have learned a great amount of things in the oncology world that I would never have learned in my time in any urgent care or in the emergency room. And also on the human side has been also not only an honor, but a humbling experience to take care of our patient population and be there for them in their most dire of needs. And it certainly has overall been a great experience with MSK thus far.
Thank you, Juan. Thanks for that introduction. Just because you're next to my screen, Errika, if you don't mind.
Hi, sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Errika Thompson, and I'm a physician assistant. I'm also an advanced practice provider, APP manager. And I've been with MSK since 2007. Prior to that, I worked in emergency medicine as well as women's health, and I was interested in MSK just out of curiosity of having an interest in oncology. Just one day scrubbing into a case for a hysterectomy in which a patient had cancer, and a surgeon just teaching me how to feel nodules and in different areas, and it sparked my interest. I knew about MSK. And I applied and was lucky enough to get accepted into the UCC as well as into GYN surgery, but I chose GYN surgery. And I think this is just an incredible organization. I've been here, like I said, since 2007. It's an organization where I feel there's a lot of admiration and respect for one another, and just to have that same drive and goal to have the best cancer care for our patients and strive to do what is necessary to see them improve and do well.
Thanks, Errika. Kelly, hi, how are you?
Hi, everybody. Sorry if it's loud. I am the advanced practice provider manager for professional development at MSK, and I've been here for about 12 years. And I started out in the step-down unit, and then I moved into supportive care and palliative care, and then in my current role, I oversee the onboarding orientation of APPs, as well as starting an LGBTQI+ consult service at our hospital to assist our LGBTQI+ patients with cancer.
Thanks, Kelly. Andrew.
My name is Andrew Parmelee. I'm a thoracic surgery physician assistant. I work primarily in the operating room. I've actually been at MSK for coming up on 7 years. My first 3.5 were as a patient care technician in our PACU. And then while I went to school, I came back after becoming a physician assistant, and I've worked on the thoracic surgery service in different capacities for the last 3.5 years. I initially became a physician assistant to kind of greater my meaningful interaction with patients. And I really enjoy MSK's team mentality. You feel as a provider, as an APP, that you are moving things forward and you're doing so as a group. I find that I have the ability to make a lasting imprint on patients, my service, and also the greater APP community within MSK through different organizations and groups that you're able to be a part of. So that's something I take advantage of here and I really enjoy.
Thanks, Andrew. Deb.
Hi, my name is Deborah Diotallevi. I'm a pediatric nurse practitioner, and I'm also the APP manager in pediatrics, and I have been here 35 years. I started here as a brand new graduate after my undergraduate degree, and what drew me first was I wanted to be a pediatric nurse, and I wasn't sure about oncology, but when I came on my interview, they just asked me very profound questions and really made me think about where I wanted to be and what I wanted to do as a nurse practitioner. And one of the things they talked to me about at that interview, which I'll never forget, is about the mission of MSK that hasn't changed 35 years later. We're about great patient care, we're about education, we're about research, and just providing the best patient care that we can. And that has stayed with me throughout those 35 years. I'm extremely happy to still be here. I don't see myself ever going anywhere else. I also am blessed to have seen miracles in my time here. I've seen treatments change over the decades and improvements. And when I say miracles, patients that I thought would never make it, now I hear from them and they're graduating college or they're getting married. And that is such a wonderful, wonderful professional fulfillment that I've received and the gift I've gotten from MSK. And I hope I have helped many patients along the way. And I hope that's the gift I've given back to the patients I've cared for. And now in my APP manager role, I hope that I could inspire the nurse practitioners and PAs that I work with to also feel empowered and have professional fulfillment and really feel the commitment to MSK that I do. So thank you.
Thanks, Deb. Thanks for sharing your story. Monique. Oh, you're muted, sorry.
Oh, can you hear me? Hi, everyone. My name is Monique Mckenzie. I've been at MSK for almost 18 years. I started at MSK in the administrative component, where I started at the Sidney Kimmel Center as a session assistant, where I went to school to become a nurse and eventually transitioned to being a floor nurse. Throughout these 18 years, what has been consistent at MSK for me is the support, whether it's transitioning into a new role, whether it's through nursing school, Everyone has been extremely supportive, and I've been here this long because of that support. I initially became an NP because I wanted to teach, and I think precepting and teaching new nurses and new APPs are important for them to thrive in the roles that they have. And also, that's the main reason why in different schools and also at MSK. I know Kelly oversees the solid tumor fellowship program, and I also participate in that and teaching fellows when they come on, as well as also with new nurse practitioners as well as new nursing students.
Thank you. Jibran.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jibran Majeed. I've been at MSK since 2009. This is the place where I took my first job as an NP and have been here ever since. I do think that MSK is a very special place. It's especially for APPs, where there are opportunities that are endless for an APP to grow as a professional, academically, even taking their work beyond MSK, and I think we have a lot of colleagues, APP colleagues, physician colleagues, RN colleagues that are really, really experts, are inspiring, and you feel proud to be amongst all of them. We have a lot of APPs, even in our division, who are really experts, and participate in national and international conferences and publish in various types of journals. Personally, I do feel like MSK is a place where I grew up for much of my NP life. I started working in the ICU. I was promoted to the clinical program manager for the rapid response team. And then in 2019, I shifted gears into the ambulatory world, becoming an APP manager, overseeing APPs in the regional SCCs, which are an extension of our hospital's urgent care center, which I do think bring a lot of value to the patients, especially that live out in the regionals and are sort of providing as a safety net. I just think, for an APP, MSK is definitely a great place. And since being started and being here, I think that definitely, you do feel like that this is a place that has reputation, but also it's embedded in everybody's sort of DNA who works here, that they all want to just give excellent care and compassionate care, and also through the journey you become friends with your colleagues, and it's just a great environment.
Fantastic. Thank you. Melissa.
Hi, everyone. So I'm Melissa Barzola. I'm an APP director for the anesthesia and critical care APPs. I started here almost in a week will be 14 years. This is my first NP job, and I was drawn to MSK because I had a lot of family members who knew MSK very well, unfortunately. And because of that, I really came to explore the opportunities here. From there, I came in the door and right away I fell in love with MSK. I felt that the opportunities and the growth potential here really was what I wanted out of my career. And it really has matched me with my wants and needs. And after I've been a nurse practitioner, I was a nurse practitioner for 10 years. I became a manager of the ICU. And then from there, a few years later, I became a director. And that's what I really want to emphasize, is that there really is a lot of opportunity here. There is really staff who supports you. Staff are so kind. They truly want patients to be happy, to do well. And everyone you meet is just nicer than the next person. And that has been what has kept me here and what I think is the most important part of MSK.
Thanks, Melissa. Jenna.
Hi, I'm excited to be here. My name is Jenna Wenzel. I'm an APP manager within malignant hematology. I came to MSK in 2021. Prior to that, I served in the military. I was a lieutenant commander in the US Navy, and I led a medical unit. I fell into oncology as a floor nurse and I never left. I did practice trauma medicine with the military for a rotation when I deployed to Kandahar. And when I came back from that deployment, I went for my master's to become an APP in oncology. And so what drew me to MSK when I moved here in 2021 was its dedication to research and its expertise. And we have a unique APP leadership where it is truly supportive of APP development. And we understand how integral APPs are in a patient's trajectory and their outcomes. And so every individual I have met, just like my colleagues have said, is committed to your success. They're committed to the vision and the mission of the institution, and we provide excellent care to patients. So very excited to be part of this team.
Thanks, Jenna. Last but certainly not least, Maryann.
Hi, I'm Maryann Dassah, and I'm a nurse practitioner at Memorial Sloan Kettering. I work in the Division of Critical Care Medicine, specifically in the intensive care unit and as part of the rapid response team in the hospital. I joined Sloan Kettering last year in the summertime, so I'm relatively new. And I was very excited to join because I really wanted to work with the cancer patient population. I had exposure to working with cancer patients in my previous job, in which I was an NP in a medical ICU. And I found it very rewarding to work with cancer patients there to help stabilize them, to help them get to the next phase of their cancer care, whether it was going to be palliative or curative, and even just helping explain to them what options they have in terms of their cancer care to help them make better informed decisions. And coming to Sloan Kettering, I'm finding that it's a very supportive work environment for APPs. APPs are encouraged to work in teams and team members support each other. And it's also a great place to work as an APP because there's a lot of support in terms of professional growth. It's a really great place to work.
Thank you, Maryann. And thank you to all of you for sharing your stories and giving us a little insight on what you're a part of here every day. So I am going to open the floor up for some questions. I know we're about, like 6:20-ish, so we've got some time. And so we can definitely get to hopefully as many as we can. So the first one I will address, and maybe Errika, this could be for you, just because of your experience. What is the best way for a PA in their clinic year? What is the best way a PA in their clinic year can prepare themselves for a job at MSK?
In their clinic years, like on clinical rotations, as they're in school already?
I would assume so. Yeah, let's go with that.
Okay. I would just say, sort of just do your research. If you're interested in oncology, see what interests do you have? Do you have an interest maybe in leukemias, lymphomas, or urology, gynecology, thoracic? You can do that. You can decide if you're interested in an inpatient setting, an outpatient setting, or in the OR. I mean, as a PA, I've had the opportunity to work in all three areas throughout my entire career. So I think like those are things that you can look at, and as well as just understand that, MSK is a really well-known institution, and their goal is just really to thrive, to provide the best care to their patients, and that's what we do every day. And if I feel like if that is something, if you're dedicated into that patient population and understanding oncology and wanting to learn as much as you can, it's really all that you need. You can also just do research in your readings. There are so many articles. Being in PA school, you're able to see all the various articles that come out, such as the within AAPA and other organizations, and you can read various articles that might, struck your interest to see what area you think would work for you.
Thank you, Errika. And I see a comment in the chat or the Q&A from Kathy Featherstone, who's also one of our managers here. And she agrees with you. She says, seek an elective rotation in oncology in specialty area that you are most interested in. So thanks, Kathy, for giving some feedback. All righty. So the next question, Juan, this is a question for you. I am also a psychiatric NP with a background in ER/CT ICU, but working in psychiatric for 7 years now. Any advice for someone looking to work at MSK without prior experience in oncology?
Thank you for the question. A good one, because I certainly was in that same boat. And I would say that there's no sort of manual to sort of prepare you, especially with the patient population that you see at MSK. But I will sort of speak volumes of the support that I got in my onboarding process with MSK, where my manager and great mentors of other APPs who helped me out on the way really prepared me to sort of set an oncology foundation on top of what other experience I already have. And I'll say that with the onboarding process, that compared to my past experiences with other institutions, I was not rushed at all, and I was kept at a pace where I was comfortable, and where I was comfortable to go out on my own then after. And, I would say that at MSK, education is very important. And I'd like to think also, once you start, the education never stops. And that's what I love about this job, because I'm just never bored. So hopefully that gives a little bit of insight.
Thank you, Juan. Because you brought it up, mentioned it a little bit, Maryann, this question is for you. How was the onboarding training for you? And can you explain what that looked like? Oh, did Maryann leave us? There she is. Sorry.
The onboarding process, it was very thorough, I would say. I definitely worked with different APPs to help me get acclimated to my unit, which was the ICU, and working on the rapid response team. There was an education component in learning about how to take care of the patients in the critical care division, and also just the training of what to do in terms of daily tasks. And then, I worked one-on-one with another APP. They were there at my side, guiding me what to do, how to round, making sure that I assess my patients properly. On the rapid response teams, in the beginning, they were with me, going out there to assess patients deteriorating on the regular floors. And then they let me go on my own, and they gave me feedback to help me improve as a provider. So overall, it was it was intense, but it was good because it helped me grow as an APP and become a better provider.
Thanks for sharing, Maryann. This is not directed towards anyone, so maybe we'll just look to who's in my middle. Here's Jibran. Or anyone who has insight, feel free to respond as well. How does the MSK prioritize its business intelligence projects and allocate resources such as staff, budget, and technology to ensure their success? And then the second part is, does the company involve key stakeholders in decision-making and balance their interests when making decisions in business intelligence initiatives?
I'm going to try to answer the question, and I would love the others to also chime in. I think great question. I think that it's sort of challenging to come up with a short answer, but again, one of the things that we at MSK, we always aim for, just like in any business, is having that competitive advantage, right? What is it that we are giving to our patients? What is it that we're giving to our team members? And we have a lot of experts. There's a lot of collaboration. Obviously you're looking at it really depends on what sort of, if you're looking at it from an APP division perspective, you're looking at the patient needs, you're looking at the patient volumes, you're looking at the staff that's needed to support the resources that are needed. And then, in addition, you're also thinking about strategizing how do you grow your team academically, professionally, things like CME days or times so they can invest academically in themselves and MSK. So, I think there's a lot of folks within MSK that certainly put their thoughts and minds into those types of resources. And as an APP, what I do have to say that even for newer APPs, but for somebody that's been here a long time, as Melissa said, there's a lot of opportunities here. There's a lot of opportunities to grow, to collaborate, to network, and in so many ways. And I don't think I answered the question. I think it's a little bit complicated one, and I think it's I think maybe a little bit. I can't give a short answer to it, but yes, we have a lot of experts that put their minds together to make sure that we have a team that's just not giving patient care and doing a job, but also growing professionally and academically. It's really, if you're looking for a career, there are folks that invest into making sure that people are getting a career out of working here.
Thank you. Melissa, I saw you unmuted. Did you want to add to that?
Yes, Jibran, that was a great answer. What I would add to it is that we do have a part of the organization. It's like a project committee, essentially. It's Operation Excellence, and it's a group of people that really evaluate projects. And what they do is you put a proposal forward of an idea. So for example, in the question asked, a business intelligence project, and then you really write a proposal to support why you think that's important. And then what happens is there's a team of people who evaluate it, and then they give you those resources as mentioned: staffing, the budget if necessary, technology resources, digits for computers, needs, and then you work together with a team. Sometimes you're given a project manager specifically who kind of keeps you in line, but helps you move that goal and project forward. So like that's a lot of what Jibran spoke about, but that really helps you, succeed in your projects, and you work as a team, you learn, you meet new people. So that's a big part of the growth and, your vision and making things come alive.
Thank you, Melissa. And Melissa, why I have you, I saw you just remuted though, but I'll ask you to unmute and I'll back this to you. Can you speak to the leadership structure for the APPs within the institution? I noticed we have managers and directors in attendance on this call.
Sure. So we have around 900 APPs, and what our structure is, we have frontline APPs who take care of patients, and then they report up through an APP manager. So we have about 35 APP managers, and they cover various areas, various services, and various regional sites. As you mentioned, Paige, in the beginning, we cover a few different areas, and then those managers align as best we can up through a director. So we have 6 directors, and then each of those directors have a group of managers. And then we have a VP, a vice president of advanced practice providers, which is Aaron Begg, and he is our leader as an advanced practice provider. And that is our structure. But one thing I will add is, although that is our structure, we work collaboratively with all disciplines every day. So literally everyone in this building we work with closely, not just MDs, not just nursing, we work with everybody, and we're really a team.
Thanks, Melissa. Monique, I'll send this to you, and if anyone else has that same experience, I know a couple of you joined right from grad school. So for those who joined MSK as a new grad APP, or those who are supported new grad new graduate colleges. How were you supported in your role as a new employee, specifically the transition from an RN to an APRN at MSK?
That's a great question. So I think most importantly, I talked about this a little bit, was the support that's provided. For me personally, I transitioned into a completely different area. I transitioned from urology and thoracic medicine to GI medicine. So it was a large learning curve there because I wasn't really familiar with the disease. I was familiar with cancer, but I wasn't familiar with GI cancer. But I think most importantly is to be open to learning. You will have a huge support system from case managers to nursing to your preceptor. There's also a mentorship program here that you can be a part of, especially as a new APP or even as a new nurse. And I think just being open to learning and allowing yourself to say, hey, you know, I'm not necessarily familiar with this, but asking a lot of questions and allowing yourself some grace to learn something completely new. Because of course, being a clinical provider or in reference to being as a nurse on the floor, perhaps, is completely different than being an APP. And I would say, give yourself, at least for me, it was 18 months to 2 years to say, okay, I'm pretty comfortable in this role, but I still consistently ask questions or just to, you know, brush myself up in different areas, whether, you know, I feel like I don't know something specifically. But I think most importantly is to ask questions and to allow yourself to get to know the role with time.
Thank you so much. And it kind of goes right along with that. And feel free, anyone, to jump in here. How long is the typical training period?
3 months. 3 months.
Thank you. Andrew,
just to add to that, the minute it's 3 months, but we really we personalized the onboarding for each APP. Our goal always is to make sure that the APP, the new provider, is achieving their goals. So sometimes it may take a little longer than 12 weeks. And we understand that. So we want to really personalize the growth and education of our brand new APPs to ensure their success, because their success is beneficial to our patients. So it definitely is individualized.
And I'd love to jump in it also after that, since I oversee onboarding and orientation. So the thing about what we really want to make sure is that we meet the learner where they are, whomever is coming into our institution, and we're interested in assessing where they already are and what knowledge they need to acquire. Some people come in with extensive oncology experience. Some people come in with no oncology experience. So we really look with our onboarding program at a phased approach to meet the learner. So we try to see, you know, we assess where they are regularly, and we move through that onboarding process to meet the needs of that candidate, that APP coming into our institution. And we do that through a variety of resources. We have simulation learning, we have hands-on learning, we have virtual learning, we have didactic sessions, we have precepting. So we really try to use as many resources as possible to encourage that onboarding process. So it's a really exciting, innovative way of working with the new APP in our institution.
Thanks, Kelly. And you kind of covered it. And if there's anything else you want to add, because someone just actually asked, could you share more formally about the orientation and training experience? I know you mentioned simulation and didactics and stuff. Anything else that you would add in addition to that?
Yeah, so the orientation period is a little bit shorter, right? And the onboarding period is the longer time that someone acclimates to our institution. But the orientation period, we have an APP specific orientation. So the APP comes into the institution, they're doing a general new employee orientation if they're new, and then they come to meet with me and a variety of other speakers throughout the institution on other topics for an in-person didactic day. And we also introduce them to billing at our institution and various other topics. And then they continue that learning, that oncology learning through some self-directed modules. And then, like I said, the onboarding piece really is that longer hands-on experience through simulation, through various other skills and competencies and work with a preceptor. And specifically with for another APP preceptor, we really try to make sure that we're having hands-on experience with other APPs, as well as our physician colleagues and our nursing colleagues.
Thanks, Kelly. This question can be for anyone. Feel free to chime in where you want. How does the APP organization prioritize diversity?
I mean, I'm also happy to jump into this one. That's a passion of mine. I think we are extremely dedicated to understanding what diversity means. And we look at diversity in a variety of different areas. While we look at, we may look at race, ethnicity, we also look at all different types of diversity for innovation and thought, and making sure that we create diverse teams that can bring, that each individual can bring something new and innovative to a team to really make an enriched team. So that's the perspective we take at MSK as well as our division. And it's really exciting because we have a wonderful new CEO who's really prioritizing those initiatives at MSK.
Thanks, Kelly. Andrew, this is a question for you. What does a day in the life of a thoracic surgery PA look like? What is the patient load? How hands-on are you with surgery? And what does your work week look like? For example, the shifts, are they 312s, et cetera?
I can assure you it's a lot of fun. I'm in the OR, so I sit in a unique spot in terms of my patient care. So a typical day for me would look like doing a couple of robotic lobectomies. I would often be bedsiding those procedures. In between procedures, or maybe at the end of my day, I would help out on the floor, pull a few chest tubes, write a couple notes. I'm also able to see folks, and regularly do during my work week in clinic, where we see folks who are preoperative and postoperative. And we also, the APPs on my team, the PAs who are on the OR team specifically, carry the console pager during working hours, which is typically 4 days a week, 7 to 5, more or less. We kind of have 3 buckets on the thoracic team. This probably exists throughout all the surgical subspecialties at MSK, where you have folks who are taking care of patients specifically on the floor. So APPs, NPs, and PAs on the floor who manage our inpatient folks. You have OR PAs who are typically helping out in the OR clinic consult. And then you have a subset of folks who are doing specifically outpatient care. So long-term follow-ups are people working just in clinic. And these are all APPs. We all are under the thoracic surgery umbrella in my example, and we work collaboratively. So we work, hand in hand. If somebody needs more assistance on the floor, we help them in that way versus outpatient and clinic. So I personally get a very good kind of global picture of our patients. And I feel like it keeps me on my toes, keeps me learning, because every day is a little different, whether that's scrubbing into an OR or going to see an outpatient clinic. So.
Thank you, Andrew. And I got a question. I guess I'm popular here too. So I've got a question, but it's also addressed to some of the APP managers on the call as well. So please feel free to chime in too. What makes a new graduate APP stand out? How can I be more competitive? And then what does the hiring process look like for your teams? Do you typically find external candidates, find positions that have been posted online, or are they referred? What does that interview process look like? So I know a couple questions in one there. So I'll let you guys answer what stands out first and what you're kind of looking at, and then I'll go through some of the hiring practices that we follow. Feel free to unmute. That's for everyone. Deb, want to take a stab? Jibran, yeah, whoever.
I think that there, are a number of things, and it really depends on also the service and teams. But I think, what I've found, as I think Errika, you alluded to before, that sort of drive to learn new things, being open to learning new things. I think those traits are very important for everybody. And also what's important is knowing, if you're a new graduate and you never had experience with working with cancer patients, it could be very intimidating. And I think MSK does have a great infrastructure to support that. But for you as a new graduate, I think your ability to learn, and also, if you're coming from a PA pathway, if you're coming from an RN pathway into becoming an NP, your prior experience can also help. If you're looking for a certain area or expertise, whether if you're looking for an ICU, it's great if you had rotations or some sort of experience within the ICU, so where you're getting into. But importantly, if you come in with no experience, I think for you to be successful is going to be learning, working hard, taking feedback, and all those, and being flexible. I think that I think that's also one of the traits that also can make especially new graduates successful in their role. And I would, Erika, if you want to chime in also, anything.
Yeah. I mean, I was going to say some of those same things. I think like a new grad, I just want to see someone who's very eager to learn. I like to see people who will sort of like go home and do their homework, not someone who wants to be fed information, but like, if you're going to ask me a question, then I'm going to tell you to go look it up and give me tell me about it the next day. I like an individual who can accept criticism and the type of feedback and use it just to their advantage. I also look for someone who's very flexible. Not to necessarily say that you only are interested in this area, but you only want to work inpatient, but be flexible to go into other areas to sort of just sort of get yourself out of that box and just learn a variety of different areas, because you'd be surprised where your interests may lie and what may work for you. So those are some of the things that I look for.
I would also recommend when you're looking at your electives, if you have an opportunity to do oncology electives, to have any shadowing experiences. So if you met people along your educational journey, that can provide some shadow experience so that you can have some more exposure to the oncology world. That would be very, very beneficial too. Some of your volunteer experience. So if you still have opportunities to add that onto your resume and you're really interested in doing oncology, where can you get exposure to working with the oncology patient and getting acclimated to this environment? So those are some of the other tips I would advise.
Just to add, I think, if you're in school and you have an area of interest, I think you want to communicate that with your program advisors, because, if you could get into, if you're interested at MSK and, if it's a place where you could get clinicals, I think that it's a great way to come in, see for yourself, get experience, and also sort of, connect with people that are actually working here, and they can also get to know you through the process. So I think, that's also a way to go.
And Jenna, I'm going to call on you, since you had a different background in coming to MSK. How did you feel like you, put your path forward and got here, coming from a military background? Talk to me, give some insight on that level, if you don't mind, please.
Sure. I felt that the interview process was very open and fair. When I spoke to the manager that ended up hiring me for the position, she was very fair in how she looked at both internal and external candidates. And I found the position online through MSKCC's career platform. And so the platform is very easy to use, and it also gives you timely information in real time. And I had applied to a couple of positions and each manager had reached out during that personally, or HR did, to give me an update on the status. But I do think that external candidates have high possibility of a career here and a path forward. There's always cultural changes when you come to any institution. And so honestly, that was probably the not a barrier to transition, but it was probably the harshest part of the transition, was just understanding, how we see patients in this institution comparatively to my previous role. But everyone was very welcoming and gave me time to reintegrate, and that I was able to, quote unquote, speak the language here.
Thank you for sharing. So I've got a couple questions in terms of like the interview process. So I'll take those since that's where I come in. And, we have recently been talking about our process and how we can best move forward and make sure that, we're being inclusive and thoughtful, really Jenna was sharing in terms of the platform we're using and where we're taking candidates from. So, we obviously have, both internal and external areas of for people to apply through, but we're looking at the applications holistically. So once you are selected for an interview, you will meet with me as the talent acquisition specialist. We usually have like a 20 to 30 minute conversation. We talk through some questions in terms of your interest of why MSK, why you came forward for the position, what stood out to you. We talk through some of the HR questions and benefits and things like that. And then I meet with the manager. So, I am sharing your resumes or your CVs directly with them. We're talking about upfront before I even reach out to you. I have met with them and understand what their need truly is. Our job postings are as reflective as they can be of what we need from a skill perspective. But there's also soft skills, the team makeup, that we need to make sure we're addressing and hiring that right person. So I'm meeting with them ahead of time, getting that information. And that's ultimately, how I'm kind of reaching out and selecting who is being pushed forward in the process. From there, we will have you meet with the hiring manager for the specific position. Again, it's sort of same process in terms of behavioral questions as well as technical questions in your skills and, kind of evaluating what you have done, whether that's through rotations or other experiences and how you would be a benefit and add to the team. And then you will go to a second round interview with probably a panelist, anywhere from, APP 3s and 4s to, maybe another hiring manager that you would work closely with. So you're not just meeting with one person, you're kind of getting an idea of the team makeup and what each person, is bringing to that interview process. They're assessing for different things. So it's usually, a 2 to 3 step. It is up to the manager's discretion in terms of if you would then meet with the service chief and or the medical director. But up front, we try to be the best we can with the expectation and how long the process and the timeline will look like, so that you as the candidate do have an idea and an expectation of when you will ultimately, get that decision. So you're not waiting, weeks and weeks to even understand if you're in the process. So we've really tried to revamp the process to make sure that, we're thinking of candidates in a positive experience, and we want you to walk away, even if you don't get that role, saying, I want to come back. I want to see what else they have because I had such a great, interaction with them and the team. So that's a little more insight. I'm happy to answer, more direct questions offline or, ping me on the side if there's a specific role you want to know information about, et cetera. But thank you for that question. And I'm happy to be a part of the answers here. So, okay. What else do we have here? As you mentioned, professional growth, could you tell me about what coverage would look like? For example, CME tuition coverage, license fees, tuition reimbursement, et cetera. Anyone want to take that? Melissa, maybe you want to take that?
Sure. So every year it has, the option that it could change, but MSK has been has a good reputation of supporting people in not only maintaining their credentials, but really motivating them to either achieve, new certifications, new credentials, new opportunities to be part of organizations, attend conferences. So we do offer CME money. Every year we are given a different amount potentially. So we do encourage staff to take advantage of that and to seek out conferences that are relevant to the area that they work in. And we do give time to staff to be able to go to those conferences along with the monetary allowance too. So we are a big proponent in really getting people to really grow. A good amount of our staff, frontline staff and leadership get involved in research and actually are not only involved in projects, but abstracts and publish in journals throughout. And we really encourage staff to do that too. And I'll let Kelly talk a little bit about it, but we have a QI research team that really helps staff who are interested in publishing. They teach them how to do that. They give them the tools and the resources so that they can do it. We also have a lot of staff who go back to school for advanced degrees, and we do encourage that also. And with that comes more projects and teamwork to get these projects, successful and get people engaged. So I would say overall, MSK is very supportive where they can be to get people to grow and financially support them where they can.
And, I went back to school and got my PhD while I was working full time, and I was able to do that successfully while working at MSK through the tuition reimbursement program and through the support of my colleagues, of everyone at MSK. And I really felt very much believed in and that invested in as an individual. I don't feel like just a part of a big institution. I feel like I actually matter. I know it's kind of cheesy, but I do. I feel like my work matters and I do have an impact. And I feel like I've been able to be successful as a result of the support that I've received at this institution. And, I've been able to publish extensively in LGBTQI plus cancer care. And been able to, like I said, develop a consult service at our institution, which is pretty innovative. And in other places that I've worked, I haven't had opportunities like this. I feel like there are so many opportunities. You have an idea and you can bring it to our QI research workshop, our quality improvement research workshop, and we have a team of APPs who will work with you to develop that idea and make it into a great project and help you bring that to fruition. And then once you do have any project idea, we also have a review committee that reviews your idea, helps you to establish that idea, and gives you suggestions about how to achieve the goal or the research question you're looking into. And we're constantly, I hold open office hours every week for people to bring any project ideas to and to just chat through and discuss anything that they're interested in doing. We also hold a variety, I believe we're almost at 10 at this point, APP-led CME program symposiums. So we have regularly scheduled APP-led lecture series, but we also have these symposiums that are amazing. And one that's coming up, I think next week, is the geriatric oncology symposium. We also have our radiology symposium, and they're all listed on our MSK website for CME programming, and they're open to all. We have a neuro-oncology one. We have a palliative care APP-led symposium. These are really high-level, high-quality symposia that contain excellent information by experts in these fields who are advanced practice providers. And that's incredible. So you have an idea, bring it to us, and we put on these amazing programs. And those all came from small seeds that people had. So it's a really incredible place to be able to be. And I love, like I'll talk to Jibran, we'll talk about ideas all the time. We've known each other for a long time. I know the people on this call, and I have working relationships with them. And like I think Melissa had said before, we know people here, we know each other really well, or Jibran had said it. And that community, I just haven't found any place else. It's a really beautiful, vibrant community of innovative thought.
Kelly, are we a part of the NHSC site or the PLSF? Do you know? I don't know what those.
I need to look what those. I don't know off the top of my head, but we will definitely get the answer to those questions. The MSK, NHSC, PLSF. I'm so sorry. I don't know what they are, but I'm happy to give you my email or contact Paige, and I will get the answer for you.
Thank you. We've got about 5 minutes left. So we have taken down all of the questions in the chat that we have not gotten to. I will send them out to the panelists to respond, and we'll send them out as the list of anyone that has joined the webinar this evening. And it is also being—
Paige, I have one quick thing. I just the new leave quickly in. If the PSLF is the Student Loan Forgiveness Program, yes, we are a part of that.
Awesome.
Sorry to interrupt you.
No, that's fine. That's great. Thank you for looking that up. So with about 5 minutes left, I'm going to kind of wrap up in terms of asking each one of you to— I'll give you two choices here. You can either share one piece of advice for anyone interested in MSK, regardless of their background, or what is one thing that has meant the most to you working at MSK. So don't think too hard, whatever comes to mind. I'll work backwards since I started with Juan. Jenna, if you'd like to go first.
Hi, so if you're a new grad coming to MSK, I think being really excited about like why you came into oncology, what you're passionate about, and being really upfront with your learning style will set you up for success and just makes you stand out in an interview process.
Thanks, Jenna. Melissa.
So what really sticks with me, and I kind of spoke about it a little bit earlier, but it's really the people. The people here give you the feeling that you can really save the world and make a difference in everyone's life. And that feeling is contagious. So once you have that feeling, you know, you become a community, as Kelly mentioned, and then every day coming to work really is like you're happy coming here and you're making a difference. And because of that, that's why I stay here forever.
Thanks, Melissa. Monique.
I think always remembering, the most impactful thing to me is remembering to treat everyone with compassion. And as long as with your colleagues, as well as the patients that you're interacting with, and always understanding if it was you on the other side and you were here getting treated, how would you want to feel by the practitioners or people who you were coming in contact with throughout your time there? So that always pushes me to keep thriving and to keep being compassionate to my colleagues and my patient population as well.
Thanks, Monique. Kelly.
You know, I love MSK because I feel completely supported and guided and developed as a leader. And that's quite unique. Also, I'll do both kind of for new grads, you know, follow your passion, come as yourself to your interview and come and show up and show us that passion. And I think that's really what we're looking for as team members here: willingness to learn and passion and excitement for what we do.
Thank you. Deb.
So one of the things I think about when I think about oncology is it's a unique area because we really develop relationships with our families because they're treated for a longer period of time than some other specialties that you can enter. So that is one very gratifying part of my profession of being here at MSK, those relationships I've built over time and being able to care for our patients. So if that's something that you're interested in, this is the right field for you to go into. I also am I have such fond memories of my time here at Memorial. I feel like, Jibran, I've definitely grown up here. It's been so many decades, and I really say every day I come to work, I am happy, and I know I'm doing something that I'm passionate about, and I'm still learning every day. I learn something new, and I have the opportunity, and I'm given the opportunity and the platform to learn. And that's exciting. And that's what keeps me energized to stay in this field and stay at Memorial.
Thanks, Deb. Juan.
Thank you again for having me. Probably, I can't really say much more than all the other panelists, what they say, but I just want to sort of reemphasize, what I mentioned before in the beginning, which is just our patient and our patient populations and their families, and how much what I will take away from this job, which I hope to keep for the rest of my career, will be the humbling and honoring experience of serving this patient population, and just knowing that I'm a part of a team that's sort of towards one goal and just sort of helping these people out. So that is what sticks out to me the most at being at MSK.
Thanks, Juan. Andrew?
Yeah, I think that's very well put, Juan. My suggestion for both questions would be not to rush. On the MSK side of things, I find I'm constantly reminded of our care that we deliver is not a rush, it's a privilege. And you kind of can see that in the teamwork that we provide for our patients. And then on the other side of things, if you're pursuing a career in oncology, want to be at MSK, do your research, use your resources. It's not a rush, it's a journey. You will absolutely be able to achieve the things you want to achieve. So it's no rush either way.
Thanks, Andrew. Jibran?
I want to echo everybody's comments, but one thing I do want to say, for someone new is, enjoy it. Being new is hard. Learning new things is not always easy. Take the time to enjoy the learning and working hard. Take the time to make those special connections, and really, and have, and enjoy the process. You have to enjoy your work. You have to, you have to appreciate why you're here. And I think that you have to reflect and go through the process, go through the journey with your peers, and just like Andrew was saying, don't rush.
Mm-hmm.
Take your time, enjoy it, and give your best.
Thanks, Jibran. And last but not least, Errika.
Oh, sure. I think like all of the above that everyone said, when I think of here, I think of the collaboration. As Kelly had pointed out earlier, we all know each other. We work together so well. We've worked on so many different projects. We collaborate well with APPs, with physicians, with, all other subspecialties. So we have a shared common goal for excellence in patient care. As APPs, we want to improve our knowledge. We want to advance our professional growth and development and practice at top of licensure. And, we do that with a lot of respect for one another.
Thank you, Errika, and appreciate everyone kind of hanging out to hear these final answers. I know we're over time. So thank you for all of the participants for joining and listening to, our team and getting some insight as to what we do. It's been my pleasure to host all of you panelists, and thank you for your dedication and what you do day to day. We wouldn't be us without you. So thank you again. I look forward to hearing from some of you, from all of you, whoever is interested. I did put my contact information in my LinkedIn in the chat for everyone. So feel free to make a connection, and I hope to meet some of you soon. So thanks again for your time. And panelists, if you can just hang out for me for 1 to 2 minutes, that would be great.